Hello, folks. Trust you are doing great today. So, today we're going to be looking at that same one model, two checklists that can make you money in the markets. Now, we're going to be looking at a kind of another way of entry with that same model. The last video, what we established in the last video is the fact that as soon as price take out the previous day's low and there's a change in state of delivery, that is either the series or just the one candle that took out the previous day's low, closed above the opening price of that candle, like what happened here, we would enter immediately and bring our stop below the low. Then we target that previous day's high in the case of a buy. So another kind of entry, and this note that this entry I'm teaching you, there is a high tendency of missing quite a number of trades, but that shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. Missing trade is not a flaw. It is actually maturity, that you're not running after the market. So now price took out the previous day's low here, changed the state of delivery here after the closure above this series of down close candle that took out the previous day's low here. So this entry, what we do in this entry is, whenever we have a series of candle that took out either the previous day's high or a previous day's low, like in this case, we don't enter immediately. We wait for price to return to the last candle, the very last candle that took out that previous day's low. And that candle, note this, you can write this in your notes, there is high probability of this kind of trade playing out when that candle have what we call a fair value gap. And what does that mean? You can do your research on it, but what it simply means is, you can see that this candle, this very candle here, having closed here, then this new candle opened over here, then another candle closed here, the another candle now opened here, now trade higher. Now we have a space from this low of this candle to the high of this candle. This space is what we call the fair value gap. It's like a gap, it's not filled, and we need to be filled. So when we have this kind of fair value gap, kind of make the last down candle, it makes it to be highly probable of playing out. So having that in mind, your entry will be somewhere around here. But for me, what I do is I take part of that fair value gap, let's say around here, then my low here, then I target the previous day's high, and that's the trade. You can see it's different from what we looked at in the last video, whereby as soon as price closed above here, the sting of delivery, the risk exposure is kind of much, and it's not even up to 1 to, it is like 0.8 R. So that is that for that. Now the next day, you can see what happened the next day here. The high of the following day, this was the high here. The high of the following day, this was the high. Price took it out at the opening of this new day. The series of this candle took it out. Then after I took it out, price changed the state of delivery immediately with this candle. it changed the state of delivery immediately by closing below the candle that took out the previous day's high. Now, what now happened here? Even though I might not enter immediately here, yes, and I have my reasons, because it could be an inducement. But based on what I'm teaching here now, it is ideal to just enter here at this candle over here. But because it doesn't present a fair value gap, I won't enter and price, priced down. But because price hasn't reached the target that we have in mind, which is the previous day's low here, then I might enter around here. Why do I say I will enter around here? If you look at this candle very well, that series started from here. The whole of the candle now, because it doesn't have a fair value gap, so we are not using the very first down up close candle, or because it doesn't have a fair value gap. So entry will be around here, then stop here to target the low of the day. So, and it went well. The following day, we can see price. We can see what price did the following day. Price just keep pressing lower, and as price took out the previous day's low here, there is no, we don't even have any change in state of delivery. It pressed lower here, just bought a bit, pressed lower. This close above here is not any change in state of delivery. Why? Because this might be an inducement. It pressed lower again, created a fair value gap here, still pressed lower, just keep pressing lower. So no trade for that day. The next day, price did what? Price having closed, this was the low of the day here. Price closed below, came up, closed below. Then this, all through the next day, price did not near changing the state of delivery. So as I was saying, price did not even change the state of delivery at all. We can see after price pressed down here, came up, then came down with this candle, forming the low of the day here. Hadn't been price closed above this, the opening of this candle. No closure above it all throughout that day. No closure above the opening of this candle throughout that day. So no trade for that day. Then we can see what happened the next day. The very next day, the high of the day of this day, which was here, the high of this day, which was here, price took it out here, having taken it out with this just one candle, then change the state of delivery here. But price change the state of delivery here based on what we are teaching here, no fair value gap. That means what we'll be doing here will be that of that very first video we had, entering immediately after price closed below here. But since the risk and the target, is not that much. If you are entering immediately from here, then just take a look at it. Stops here, previous day's low here, just 1-to-1. So yes, it played out, but for me, I wouldn't take it. So, but there are cases whereby this model will not work. Like I said in the previous video, when it does not work, if you backtest enough, you will not only know why when it does not work, but you will know what to do next when it does not work. Because when it does not work, some things will present itself for that region to be a flip zone. But that will be in another video. So I would admonish you to backtest it. When it does not work, note it. You can even have a screenshot of it then make me refer to it. I can even make some videos about when it does not work for you, but I'm going to do a video for that. So cheers and trade profitably, guys.